So what I've done is I've taken part of my Mohawk from here and part of it from here. You do not want to go too wide because it will be over directing if you go wide. And these mannequins are small. They're about 2/3 the size of a human head. So we're going to work with a little bit smaller of a subsection. Now, of course, if the client's hair is very dense, you're going to work with smaller subsections to begin with. And the same goes in the back. So we've established our Mohawk, and now we're going to do our Mohawk guide. This is our length that the perimeter established, and that is the length we are going to do to cut the interior layers. So that's why I prefer to do my perimeter first, because it is in direct correlation with how you're going to establish your interior layers. I'm going to comb this thoroughly, just like I've done in the previous haircuts. I'm coming straight off the head. "90" is straight off the head wherever you live. Wherever this comb is, that's your 90. And I'm going to cut. I'm going to drop out half of my guide, and I'm going to pick up new hair. I'm going to watch where my section comes off the head. I'm going to remove a piece, pick up another piece. If I over-directed, this hair would get shorter and this hair would be longer. If I under-directed, this hair would be longer and this hair would be shorter. So you just really, really, really need to make sure when you pull that hair up, you check what angle you're holding it off of the head. And you're going to take a guide with you the entire section. I'm looking at my 90 at the front of the section, not the back. If you look at the back, it's going to mislead you because we're taking the guide with us. If we were bringing the guide from here, then we would be checking this side. But since we're following and taking the guide going this way, that's where we're checking. Do you see how the head shape has curved now? You see where the 90 is? The trick with cutting a mannequin or client with a length of hair that's more than 5 inches, you tend to cut into the perimeter. So I'm using this guide. I pull to my 90. I'm going to take more hair, and I'm just, at this point, I'm just going to stay at 90 right here with this section. And I'm going to pull everything out to that 90. I'm not going to move down the head at all. Because of the length, I would cut into the perimeter. So what we're going to do now is, because we have a traveling guide, I'm going to split this section in two, and I'm going to be working on this quadrant right here. I'm going to pull my Mohawk down part of the back and comb over it. So what's going to happen, this hair is going to fan out a little bit over this subsection, and it's going to give you your guide through the top also, the whole way around. You remember, do not cut if you cannot see your guide. that will keep you from making a mistake and cutting hair you shouldn't be cutting. Now this first section is probably not going to find much to cut because we're working on a pie. So remember, the center of a pie is very tiny and it goes to wide. Well, that's the same thing we're going to have with this haircut. So what I've done is I've taken part of my Mohawk guide and added hair to it. Remember, we're looking at the top of the section, not the bottom. Pull that hair out. Where is your 90? There's my 90 right there. And the hair falls out, then I don't have to worry about it. Comb that hair down and over. I'm going to slice out hair and remove it. You should be able to stop a haircut and be able to go right back to that haircut if you keep your subsections very precise and clean. Comb that section down, remove that hair. When you are cutting hair, to make sure you don't cut into your perimeter, make sure your hands and your hair you're pulling is over hair. If I pull down here and I pull over skin, I am going to cut a big gap. Comb it down, move forward. Make sure you've got your top Mohawk, nothing to cut. Okay, once you have finished this subsection, remember we're going to cross-check. Always cross-check. Because your cross-checking is telling you whether you're right on or right or not. And just correct any little pieces of hair that you may have missed. If you pull it down here, you will not see it. If you pull it up here, you won't see it. You have to pull to the 90 in order to really cross-check that hair. And you want to make sure you cross-check all the way down, pulling it to a 90. The only hair I've missed is this, and I will get that in a moment. Okay, once this section is good, it's clean, it's cross-checked, now we're going to move on to the next subsection. We're working continually in pie-shaped subsections. So I'm going to go right here where the front and the back connect. Because remember, I have to take a guide with me. So here, that head's turning fast when we get up top. Just keep looking at the top of the guide. And if that hair won't reach, don't worry about it. What you're going to do now is just lay this over and remove part. So these are not straight up and down sections. They are working around the head all the way back to the mohawk on the top. Comb, comb, comb. Okay. See, here is my perimeter. And see, by staying at my 90 here, I don't have to worry about cutting into that perimeter. And if you do, we'll catch it and we'll fix it because we're always going to check our perimeter last. Do you see how the angle of the partings have changed? And when you leave this perimeter as long as we did, there may be a little bit of a problem, but we will take care of it. So see that piece? I'm going to wrap it over the top. My last piece is going to marry with the mohawk. So we've cut this way. So we're going to take and we're going to make kind of a rounded horizontal part to do our cross checking. Pull it up to your 90. Take your next section. Pull it up to a 90. Take your last section. Pull it up to a 90. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cross-check the front with the back quadrant to make sure that we didn't get longer than our guide or shorter than our guide. Even if you cut a really even haircut, you may find a little piece that you need to fix. And this is just insurance that your haircut is what you want to give your client. The other side is going to continue in the same manner. So as if I've already finished the other side, we are going to look at this and we're going to check our perimeter, because when you cut something this long and we only cut about that thick of a perimeter round, we may have hair that hangs past that perimeter at this point. So moisten up your mannequin, comb her thoroughly, and see, I've got just a little hair that needs to be cleaned up. But you will never be embarrassed by your client coming back and say, look at this little tag, if you thoroughly check your work. All right, you're going to continue and you're going to start in your back left quadrant and you're going to follow the same manner and you're going to complete this haircut.